Good afternoon. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group, and I want to thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk, I'm All Power Group and Phoenix Animal. Now, I love talking about cats, dogs, horses, you name it. Anyway, today our story is about a cat by the name of Whiskerton. Now, Whiskerton lived in London in the 1700s. So we're going to go through a story and you're going to find a very interesting aspect how smart this cat actually is. And it's exciting. I didn't make it up. anyway, this wonderful cat lived in 18th century London amidst the clatter of horse-drawn carriages and the cries of street vendors. They lived in a most extraordinary cat. There was a cat, by the name of Whiskerton. And you'll find this cat actually turned out to be very famous. Whiskerton was a beautiful tabby cat, and the colors were ginger and white, female with an exceptional, keen intellect and an insatiable curiosity. And Whiskerton was born in 1742 and born in London. And you're going to find the wonderful things that this cat could do. Now, the human companion was a kind, albeit eccentric, clockmaker named Mr. Alistair Finch. Mr. Finch's workshop was a labyrinth of gears, springs, and intricate mechanisms. Just kind of like my office in here. And Whiskerton spent his days observing, learning, and occasionally battling a stray pendulum. Now, I guess you'd say, well, if a cat lives with Mr. Finch in a clock shop, would the cat learn about clocks? You'd think, no, not really. But Whiskerton's unique contribution to the world wasn't in grand scientific discoveries or political upheaval, but in a quieter yet profoundly impactful realm. The development of early cat-friendly automatons and inspiration for improved clockwork safety mechanisms. Now, it began quite by accident. Mr. Finch was struggling with a particularly temperamental grandfather clock. Its chimes were unreliable and its internal workings prone to snagging. One evening, as he toiled, Whiskerton, perched on a high shelf, observed a tiny spring that had come loose. With a delicate paw, he nudged it, sending it tumbling directly into its proper slot in this grandfather clock. Mr. Finch, bewildered, saw the clock suddenly spring to life, chiming perfectly. Now, I don't think he's figured out that Whiskerton has actually fixed the clock. This sparked an idea that he began to notice Whiskerton's innate understanding of spatial relationships and mechanical intricacies. So in other words, luckily, Mr. Finch didn't just ignore the issue. He said, this cat is unique and is going to help me in my clock shop. So anyway, he started building, because he's thinking, wow, this is a good idea, you know? So he started building small playful automatons for Whiskerton to interact with. Tiny clockwork mice that scurried in predictable patterns, or miniature birds that chirped on command. Whiskerton, in turn, would sometimes correct, and what teamwork here, a stiff joint in a toy with a gentle prod, or discover a loose cog that Mr. Finch had overlooked. Word of Mr. Finch's Whiskerton-inspired wonders began to spread among the curious and the wealthy. In other words, due to Whiskerton and the ideas, these automatic toys were developed. Mr. Finch, through his observations of Whiskerton's interactions, started designing clockwork mechanisms that were less prone to jamming and safer for manipulation, even for small, curious paws. He incorporated designs that minimized exposed gears and created more resilient internal structures, unknowingly pioneering early concepts of fail-safe in mechanical engineering. While these were initially for his playful automatons, the principles subtly influenced his more serious clockmaking endeavors, leading to remarkable, robust, and reliable timepieces. Whisker's most charming contribution, however, was his role in inspiring Mr. Finch to create a series of delightful automaton companions, intricate clockwork animals, let me show you them again, that could perform simple actions. Pretty interesting for the 1700s. These were not just toys, they were designed to bring joy and wonder, often mimicking the movements of real animals. They became hugely popular in aristocratic homes, offering a unique blend of art, engineering, and whimsical charm. The success of these automatons, directly inspired by Whiskerton's interaction and feedback, provided Mr. Finch with the financial freedom to experiment further and refine his clockmaking. Whiskerton's lived a long and happy life, curled up by the warmth of the workshop fire, occasionally nudging a wayward gear, and always purring contentedly. He never knew of the subtle but significant impact he had on the mechanical world of the 18th century, influencing the refinement of clockwork and inspiring a wave of charming, safe automatons. He was simply a happy cat, beloved by his human and quiet furry moose to a mechanical age. So, hey, if you think an animal can't help you, well, let's just think about Whiskerton when you're wondering if your dog, cat, or horse can fix a problem. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here. And, you know, it's great having you here. And, you know, if you can subscribe, that's always appreciated. And anyway, I want to thank you again. And we will have more stories like this that kind of push the envelope toward how I've said many times animals are very smart. But anyway, thank you. And I really, really appreciate you being here. Take care.